Hi guys, welcome to Canadian Cutting Edge. It's the end of November. Hopefully you get to see this before the 1st of December. All depends on how I feel. This is Bandit. For those of you who know him, he's a good dog. Say hi to everybody, Bandit. Wave over here. Look over here. Say hi. So today we're taking a look at this knife. This is a new knife by Ruike Knives. It's a Chinese company. It's a... They don't officially proclaim it. It's a sibling company of Real Steel and Sanrenmu. These three companies are basically the same general ownership and same factory and everything. And so that's why you get really good quality stuff. This is a very good budget choice. RuikeKnives.ca is in Canada. So these knives are in Canada right now. So if you want to buy from them, you'll get it in time for Christmas. For sure, and especially if you're in Canada. This is Canadian Cutting Edge after all. Americans, you can buy from RuikeKnives.ca as well and get a really good price. Canadians, if you spend $99.99 plus 1 cent, so basically if you spend $100, you get free shipping. This knife right here is $36.95 Canadian, which is what, around 28 US dollars. Very, very good price for what you get. So I think you want to learn about this knife and its sibling. This is the P661. And then there's the P662, which is the same knife with a different blade shape, more of a sheep's foot kind of blade. Other than that, they're very much the same. So I only got this one, so stick around. The review's coming to you right now. Okay, one of the first things I like to do is a little bit of a size comparison, and I've almost always been showing you guys lately the Rat 1, the Ontario Rat 1. See, that's a much bigger knife. But here the Sanrenmu 7010, which is getting a little bit more difficult to find. And there you go, you got a knife that is a little bit bigger than the 7010. And I really like the 7010. It's a very nice knife. It used to be called the 710, and really good choice. So if you're looking for a knife, and you find a 7010 on sale, or for sale, I should say, you should probably snap it up, because this is an awesome knife, and very often it's been selling for 10, 11, 12 US dollars. It might be a little bit more now that it's getting less common. I hope Sanrenmu produces more of these again, because they're just a very nice knife. So what do we have in today's knife? Well, we've got 14C28N stainless steel, and it says so right there on the blade. And here's the model, P661-B. There will be a -W coming out, and that's more of a tan-colored G10. You can look at the RuikeKnives.ca website, and they've got other knives that are in that same -W color, so you can see what that color is, and decide for yourself if you want to wait for that or not. Now, I think they were thinking about making this a right and left friendly knife. I wish they would have. See, right here, there's a little bit of a cutout. Let's zoom it in a little bit for you guys. I'm talking about that because that's one of the main drawbacks for this knife is for lefties. There's no thumb stud on the left side. It's only on the right side. Now, I have not yet tried to take it out and replace it on the other side. I think from the way this looks, it would be possible, except for the fact that the crown of the stud is going to possibly get in the way right there. So we'll see. And if I was I am left-handed actually. I grew up left-handed. But I've become ambidextrous over the years, and since the knives are almost all right-handed, I became quite right proficient. And so if this does work, I'll do another little video about how to make this thing left-friendly, but there's no holes on this side either for a left pocket clip. So there's a lot of things that are just right. A right pocket clip, a right thumb stud. We've got a liner lock knife, and lock up there is perfect. Exactly what I want a brand new knife to be. We've got bronze washers No ball bearings in here. They're not needed. And those of you who are newer to the knife hobby, 3 years ago, ball bearings were quite uncommon. And now they're just everywhere, and people are not realizing that washers are still awesome. The action on this is just great. Just, it flies right out, no problem at all. Every single time you want to deploy this knife, it will just come flying out of its sheath, out of its handle. The G10 is done quite well. You've actually got a negative radius in here instead of a curve. There's a bit of a negative radius all the way around the handle. You can see it right there. And then, along the handle up to the end and around the belly. It's actually very comfortable in hand. The pocket clip is really cool. Let's see if I can get this focus back here. There you go. It's a stud with a cutout in the G10 right there. So you just fish a paracord through there. If you're going to do a pocket clip, if you're going to do a lanyard hole, that's how it should be done, in my opinion. That's my favorite way. I like that an awful lot. So those of us who don't want it, it's not in the way. And those of who want it, it's nice and inset. It doesn't create a big bulk where the cordage has to go all the way through. I like that. Well, there's a nice texture on the G10 as well. Very typical, hash kind of texture on there. The blade, like I said, 14C28N. We've got a very slight drop point, a funky swedge here that makes it almost look like a harpoon kind of style blade. But obviously it's not. It's just a swedge there. Rounded spine, jimping up here. And the thumb stud's got a crown on it. Let's see if we can get a close-up of that. And helps to grab the thumb right on the surface there, no problem at all. The jimping is also not super aggressive, just enough to be good. The sharpener's choil right here comes out just far enough. Very, very fine bead blast finish on the steel. Some people hate bead blast finishes and other people love it, so not very many companies do an awful lot of bead blasting these days, at least not on budget knives, and I like that finish. It's a nice satin kind of finish. Doesn't catch the eye. It's not super reflective. It's done quite well. I'll show you the insides of the knife taken apart in just a little while. There's no skeletonizing or anything. It's just some bronze washers in there. There's nothing fancy at all about how it's made. So I'll just give you, actually I'll do that. I'll give you a still picture of the insides right about now. Actually, I decided to do a little bit of video. Here it is taken apart. So you can see no skeletonizing unless you want to say that that right there is skeletonizing, or maybe that hole right there. These two holes maybe. One really cool thing that I want to show you on this is the washers. And I'll show you a close-up of it, but you can see there's a nice bronze washer and a black washer. The black one's still on this side. So on each side of the blade, you've got your handle scale. The black looks like a nylon washer, phosphor bronze washer, blade, phosphor bronze washer, black nylon washer, liner. And these bronze washers are very smooth. That's why the action is so great on this knife. Also worthy of note is that the pivot pin here is not free spinning, and neither is the back pin right here. It's also got a little bit of a D shape to it, so it's not free spinning when you want to take it apart. Tiny little things that add an awful lot for a very budget knife. And now let me show you a still picture also, or maybe a little bit of video of it going into a pocket. So the raised little lip on here, perfect for getting up over this, and it slides right to the bottom. I've had no problem with it not sliding right to the very bottom each time, even though they do have those round over screws, but they are actually somehow recessed just a little bit. So they're very shallow, so every single time it's always bottomed right down there. Perfect. Love it. Okay, so what do I like and not like about this knife? Well, it's got a very precision point here if you're wanting to do some delicate work. Very nice long belly. It's a nice gradual belly, so it's great for slicing. Comfortable in hand. It's a good small size, just sub 3 inches. Sorry for those guys who've been waiting for that information. Just under 3 inches for the blade length and the cutting edge length, so that's great. And it's a rock solid knife. Let's give you the dimensions and those kind of other specs about this knife. The weight of this knife, 27 grams, 2.35 ounces. Very good. The factory sharpness from the factory, 145 best, which is just great. 200 is sharp, smaller is even better. 145 is awesome. Now, like I said, the blade length and the cutting edge is the same. 7.42 centimeters, 2.92 inches. Perfect. The blade thickness at the tang here, close to the pivot, is 3.16 millimeters, which is 0.1245 inches, basically 1/8 of an inch. The blade depth this way, almost 2 centimeters, 1.97 centimeters, 0.777 inches. The thickness of the edge right behind the grind, about 1 inch up from the sharpness choil, is where I always measure it, 0.46 millimeters, which is 0.018 of an inch. Perfect. That's exactly as thin as I want it to be behind the grind. Awesome. The grind angle. Oops. Grind angle is not listed. I forgot to measure that. I'll put that on the screen right here because I'll measure it before I edit it. The handle length is 9.53 centimeters, so 3 3/4 inches. The grip area between my thumbs, 8.8 centimeters, 3.5 inches, just under 3.5 inches. The handle thickness, not counting the pocket clip, 1.13 centimeters, that's 0.446 of an inch, so thin, that's great. The handle depth, just under 2 centimeters, 0.78 of an inch, so just over 3/4 of an inch. And when the knife is closed, the widest depth point here is 2.21 centimeters, 0.87 of an inch. And the total length of the knife when the blade is deployed is 16.9 centimeters, 6.65 inches. Awesome. The balance point is right where you want it to be, right there by that finger choil. Maybe a slight bit back, but it's only not even 2.5 ounces, so no problem at all with the balance. Full flat grind on here. Slices like a dream. I really like this knife. Like I said, it's about just under 28 US dollars, 36.95 Canadian dollars, about 25.25 euros, about 21.5 British pounds. That is if you buy it at RuikeKnives.ca. If you're in Europe, you know, they're going to charge you the VAT and other things probably, and shipping and things. Get the knife wherever you can. If you're in North America, though, I suggest going to RuikeKnives.ca and let them know that Jake from Canadian Cutting Edge sent you. That way they're going to continue working with me and giving me good deals so that I can keep bringing you knives to look at. I've got some other Ruike knives that I got recently, and if you haven't seen the unboxing video, check it. I think there's an unboxing video. The link will be below if there's an unboxing video. And check it out because I'll be reviewing those as soon as I can. I think I'm going to be doing about 2 videos a week if I'm feeling good enough. I've got to take these special meds for another 6 weeks, and they are super hard on my body. They knock me over. I take them, I'm out for 12, 14 hours. And it's kind of hard to deal with these drugs. I don't get knocked out as in asleep, but just I can't do anything for a long time. So hopefully I can get you 2 videos a week. That's my goal for the rest of the year and early January. We'll see. Pros and cons. It's a straightforward knife. 2 great blade designs. Very good steel for the action is awesome. Alignment here, perfect when it's closed. Good grip in the hand, good hand feel, very light, awesome discreet knife. The only thing I would change about this is make it left friendly, I think. And maybe one other thing, deeper carry maybe. If this body screw here was that last screw on the pocket clip, so the pocket clip was right up at the end, that'd be kind of cool. I can see why they did it this way though. So they can add the pocket clip onto the handle before they assemble it, and then they just have these 2 screws during assembly. It does get a little tricky if you're assembling the whole thing and the pocket clip at the same time. Not tricky, but it does add a little bit of time, which is why I suspect they did it this way. Beautiful rake knives. If you're in the market for a knife, check them out. And RuikeKnives.ca and RuikeKnives.com is their corporate manufacturer's website. I'll have links down below for you to be able to get this knife very easily. And thank you guys for watching, liking, sharing, commenting, subscribing. I'm not responding to comments. I simply don't have the... my health is such that I just don't have the time to sit there and stuff. And unfortunately, even just in a seated position in front of a computer, it really does wear me out. So if you do want to write to me, if you have a question or comment that you really want me to answer, go ahead and write to me, CanadianCuttingEdge@gmail.com. I will get back to you within a couple of days, usually much faster. But thank you so much, guys. You've been a great support to me so far. Thank you for your continued support and encouragement. And remember, always cut towards your chum, not your thumb.